same air. We all have the same basic interests. And we need people in office who, while they fight for their convictions, while they stick to their values, do not walk away from the fact that we are all constituents whose viewpoints and whose considerations need to be regarded. And Susan, I believe, understands, and it's a passion of mine as well, that when we talk about the budget, when we talk about the economy, when we talk about out-of-control pensions, it's not enough just to say that the spending is going way out of line. You have to look at it in terms of people's livelihoods, in terms of people's future, and say that the reason why we need to tamper down the government spending is not because we're angry that you're getting a pension. It's because your children won't be able to afford it. We care about them the way that you care about them. That's why it's important. It's not because we want to sit on our fiscal high horse and say, well, you can't go around spending this much money, you're making us all broke. No, it's not because you're making us broke. It's because you're robbing from the future generations that are going to carry the future of California, the future of the United States of America forward, hopefully into a blessed new future. You know, people have a tendency, and it's certainly true of governments, to make some of their worst decisions during good times. And in the 1990s, when the economy was booming, we made a lot of decisions to increase taxes, but also decisions to allow for the lowering of mortgage standards to people who may have been able to keep up with their bills at the time. We made decisions in Washington, D.C., and also some decisions in Sacramento. The pensions issue is a prime example of that. Decisions that came back to haunt us when reality finally knocked on our doors again. The bubbles bursted. We looked at what we had done by promising the world through expansive government spending, through entitlement spending that would see no limits, because for a while, for 10 and 20 years in the 80s and the 90s, the economy was growing at 4%, 4.5% a year. GDP was off the charts. And we just figured, hey, this will last forever. Oh no, of course not. It didn't last forever. And so now we're at a time where we have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, regardless of whether or not you're a Republican or a Democrat, what makes sense responsibly? You know, how is it that we can best harness our resources? How is it that we can best harness our opportunities to pivot into the 21st century in a way that allows, certainly for the state of California and for the United States of America as a whole, to remain at the competitive forefront of the national economy in California's case and the international economy in the United States of America's case. I couple these things together because, again, the problems that California faces are the problems that the nation faces. We have the potential. We have the resources in the state. We have this beautiful geography in the state of California. It's a place where everybody wants to be, everybody wants to come, and yet we're chasing the future prosperity of this country away. We're chasing it to Texas. We're chasing it to places with low tax rates, low regulations. And what does that do? Yes, it means that there are not going to be jobs in the state of California. I think most of us understand that. But it also means that when it comes to funding the education system and when it comes to funding and trying to preserve some of these pension benefits, there are going to be less resources for that. So no matter how you look at it, whether you're concerned about pension programs, whether you're concerned about employment, whether you're concerned about anything in our fiscal and our economic landscape, we need to make California competitive again. And we need to make the United States of America competitive again as well. And that is a compassionate viewpoint. It's not a selfish viewpoint. It's not a greedy viewpoint. It's the viewpoint of people who are looking at the future and looking at reality and saying, I want my son to have a job. I want him to have a career. I want there to be the possibility and the potential for social mobility in this state and in this country. And it only takes the political will to do it. We have the resources, we have the knowledge, but we have a set of bureaucrats in Sacramento and Washington, D.C., Democrats and Republicans, let me say, because the problem is bipartisan. But if we could get to a point where the good sense of the American people and the people of California can only prevail against a political culture that is completely invested in keeping us completely apart, then we can begin to solve some of these monumental problems. That's what I'm about, and that's what Susan Shelley's about. I thank you for your time.